What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Blazers Uprise Postgame Show powered by BetUS. Today, the Portland Trail Blazers have another poor defensive outing, giving up 132 to the Denver Nuggets, losing by 11. They kind of kept in touch despite the injuries, but the Blazers fall after having a good offensive night by their standards. They give up a whopping 55 points to Jamal Murray, a career high for Jamal Murray. So after Jamal Murray completely disrespects the Blazers last game with his antics and yelling and screaming and gets ejected, he disrespects the Blazers through his play today as Jamal Murray scorches Portland. A game after Nikola Jokic scorched Portland. This Denver team is playing some really good basketball right now. This Blazer team is playing some really bad basketball right now. The Blazers' good 11-game streak looks like it's far in the rear view at this point as the Blazers head into the All-Star break on a 3-game road losing streak. All 3 losses by double digits. Eric, what's going on, man? How are you doing?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm just a little annoyed with one Jamal Murray. Can we get a 80s style hard foul on him just once in the freaking game, dude? I'm so sick of watching 2 straight games of him just punking us and us doing nothing about it.
Yeah, there was seemingly a lack of pride, a lack of energy today. And this team did not play with the same energy on this road trip as they did at home. And this team, their defense, if they play good defense, it seems completely dependent upon them having more energy than the opposing team. They did not have more energy than the Denver Nuggets tonight, and the Blazers played some horrific defense once again. They had a couple good moments here and there, man, but some porous defense by the Blazers. Just disappointing to see the 11 games of good basketball. Just right now, it doesn't feel like they have sustained that. It feels like they're right back to the Blazers that they were before that 11-game streak, and that's very disappointing. Didn't necessarily expect to go out on the road and win these games, but I at least wanted to see this team stick to the identity that we talked about, how they were building an identity, right? We talked about that a lot on that 7-game homestand. The Blazers are playing fast. They're playing really good defense. They're playing scrappy. They're playing with energy. Seems like that's gone away, and that is the most disappointing thing about this game. You did have some good moments. Klingon has had a couple good games there in Denver. Nice to see him have a legitimate impact on the game. It was nice to see the Blazers put 121 on the board. And now it's time for the All-Star break where hopefully Scoot Henderson can heal up, get back healthy. We got a DeAndre Ayton update today. He'll be reevaluated in 4 weeks, so he might be out for the season, knowing how reevaluation dates go for the Blazers. And, the Blazers just did not defend in this one. The Nuggets had 12 made threes at halftime. They were 12 for 22, if I recall correctly. So, 3 for 16 second half. And didn't really feel like the Blazers were defending it much better. They just started missing some of those threes. So, that three-point percentage still right there at 40%. The Blazers, paint points battle, pretty even. It's just, you can't stop him inside the arc, man. It was just, this whole game was a recipe of death by 1,000 cuts and then not being able to defend Jamal Murray pick and rolls. Like, the Blazers were terrible with their pick and roll defense today, and they got torched because of it. And this is the type of team that'll torch you if you don't have things in order defensively. But the Blazers just look completely lost defensively the last 2 games. This game, much the same as last one.
Yep. Just trying to find the positives here. I thought Klingon was awesome outside of, a couple times he got foul baited. But it was really awesome to see him step up to the challenge of not only starting but playing major minutes. And we kind of hit him. He wasn't guarding Jokic, which was weird. And there's an argument. There's an argument in chat about the Blazers' defense and stuff, and blaming the guards. But when you have your center guarding a forward, and your forward guarding their center, and then you have your other forward guarding their point guard, what do you think is going to happen when they screen off of them and rotate the ball and stuff and put players in bad looks? So I thought Klinga did as good of a job as he could have. He was awesome on the offensive rebounds, of course. I thought he finished well around the basket this game, and when he didn't, he grabbed his own shot for the most part. So I was really happy to see him because there's been some concern since he came back from injury a few weeks ago or a couple months ago. I forget when he came back, but that at times he looks a little slow, and it's like, oh, is he too immobile to play in the NBA consistently or to be a really good player in the NBA? And the way he ran the floor tonight on getting back on defense and also rim running on offense, I thought showed just some of those concerns I think are put to bed. I think he's going to be fine, and he makes up for it. We know he's not incredibly mobile, but like you can do some things to curtail that a little bit. So I thought he did a really nice job tonight, just trying his best and fighting through playing 30 minutes and stuff. Like he's got to learn to do it, and I'm glad he did it tonight.
Yeah, Klingon looked good, man. Just battling on the boards, it was beautiful. And I'll talk a little bit more about his game here in a little bit. Before we really jump into things, today is a members night, so there's a members-only Q&A. Channel members, we will answer every question that you drop in that members-only Q&A. We'll also gift a membership or two later on in this stream for those of you as part of members night. And then we'll talk a little bit about the prospect notes that I'm going to be working on now that we have some time off and an all-star break and not a trade deadline to worry about. And it's also charity night. And the charity for tonight is Brooke Hearts Your Heart. That is Brooke Olzendam's program that raises money for the American Heart Association. It educates fans on the importance of heart health, prevention, and education. We are big Brooke Olzendam fans over here. So if you want to donate to her cause, Brooke Hearts Your Heart, there's a link in the description box below, right at the top. NBA.com/Blazers/heart. That is our charity for tonight. And let's just talk about this basketball game, man. It's we gotta start with how Jamal Murray gets his points. You talked about the Blazers being cross-matched. That's gonna happen against the team that runs the most in the league. Like, you're not necessarily going to be able to get back and get your matchup, right? If you're playing good transition defense, you're going to get cross-matched against a team that knows how to run, knows how to leak out, right? Jamal Murray's buckets a lot of them came in the flow of things. A lot of them came off of the Blazers trying to double-team Jokic and then just getting caught in rotations. The Blazers' rotations were not good on this road trip. They really struggled to rotate. It kind of looked like earlier in the season where you could just break down their defense by getting them caught in rotations and exploiting that, and it's right back to that. Now, I saw the argument, Erica, you had with a couple people about, how much Anthony Simons guarded him. I went back and watched some Jamal Murray buckets. I don't know if it was all of them. It was just a House of Highlights upload. That was 2.5 minutes. Like at least four buckets were on Anthony Simons. But there was buckets, a lot of them in pick and roll, where Blazer forwards that we know is good defenders did not do a good job of defending pick and rolls, getting through screens. Denny Avdia, on a couple of them, man, really struggled. Just not like stepping up and stepping into the ball handler and taking that away. But also a lot of the buckets were good action by Denver. They run some of the best action in the league. Right, they run some really creative stuff, and people say, "Oh, well, yeah, you got Nikola Jokic." Even with DeAndre Jordan in the game, man, they run good stuff. They free up cutters. They create driving lanes for guards where they have basically space to attack instead of having to always create one-on-one. And then a few of the plays was just good offense by Jamal Murray. A really tough finish in transition against Kamara. Like, he got his points in a bunch of different ways, and the Blazers, the biggest thing I had an issue with was they kind of they were not physical on screens at all. Every time they got screened, they struggled getting through it. There was times where like somebody, I believe it was Banton, and I don't even know if Jamal Murray made this shot, but like Banton was going to go under a screen and got caught on the screen because the screener started rolling and Banton was trying to go under it when Jamal Murray was at the 3-point line. I mean, it was just really, really bad pick and roll defense in this game. And
that once too.
Yeah, it's like you can't go under on Jamal Murray, man. You can't go under on him. You should know the scouting report. Here's the thing, like, these guys know Jamal Murray. Like, if you're playing against Jamal Murray, and unless you're a rookie and it's your first time playing against him, you should know, all right, this dude can score, this dude can shoot, you can't go under screens. Right? Like, that is absolutely the game plan. It was just baffling to me the way the Blazers died on screens in this game, sometimes trying to go under screens on Jamal Murray. And one thing Denver does really well is they disguise their ball screens, right? Or they disguise screens where like somebody's catching a pass coming off a screen where they have some other action that the defense has to take notice of, and then they run it into like Jamal Murray coming off a screen, and they do a really good job of not allowing the defense to be ready to guard a ball screen. And the Blazers in this game just seemed like they were completely unprepared to try and get through a screen. It was like they were out of position a lot of times when they would get screened, and that just made it really easy for Jamal Murray to come off these pick and roll, some of these sets, and just get open shots. So that was a major issue in this game. It was just like very disappointing because you literally just played the same exact team last game. So you would think they would be a little bit better prepared for some of the actions. They did not look better prepared at all today. They held them to 14 less points because Denver didn't have Jokic hitting like fadeaway falling out of bounds threes. The defense was just as bad. So it's just, that's an example of a team that runs good stuff. And people say, yeah, it's easy to run good stuff when you have somebody like Nikola Jokic. Okay, true, but it's also fascinating to me how they can still run good stuff when they have 17-year vet DeAndre Jordan in the game at center, who has never, ever been a skilled center, right? They still run really good action. They move the ball side to side. They get the defense shifted, and they get guys going downhill, and they attack the gaps that are left in the defense by shifting the defense in the first place. And it's some of the stuff that I wish the Blazers would do with their athletes, where the hope is next year the Blazers can run some stuff like Denver does. Because could you imagine Shaedon Sharpe getting some of these seams that like Christian Brown gets, right? And I'm not talking about Nikola Jokic diving him. I just talk about him like getting a screen, coming to the ball, and just catching the ball on the move and just having a lane right in front of him, right? You don't need Nikola Jokic to throw him the pass. So just really impressed with the action that Denver continues to run. They have a very specific style of play, and they've been able to play that style of play with or without Jokic in the lineup. Obviously, they're much, much, much better with Nikola Jokic in the lineup, but they still get some guys some good shots through the stuff that they run, no matter who's in the lineup. And that's because, magic word, that's their identity. That's what they run, and everybody runs it. And that's their system, so Jamal Murray thrived off that. He got a lot of shots in the flow. He did take advantage of Anthony Simons a couple times. I mean, there was a possession where Anthony played like 10 seconds of good defense, and then the final second just like completely stopped. The little up and under where it, didn't really battle him. It's good defense up until that point. So, it's not any one guy's fault. The Blazers collectively as a team, the past two nights, really, really struggled defensively. And it was guys that normally play well. It was guys that normally struggle. It was literally everybody. Klingon is maybe the only guy that I don't think struggled the past couple of games. He's going to have to clean up the fouls, but, he does a decent job of trying to protect the rim and that sort of stuff. Everything else, just guys out of position, guys trying to go under screens against Jamal Murray, guys dying on screens, right? Like two guys switching onto one guy and leaving Jamal Murray wide open. That was something that happened in this game. It was just all sorts of crap that was really disappointing to see.
Yeah, I'm almost done charting all of his 20 field goal makes to see who was his primary defender when he shot the ball. So I'm almost done with that.
Yeah. So looking forward to just seeing the way that is. And here's the thing: when you're guarding a team like this, right? Like, it's not always the primary defender's fault. Okay, like, you're dealing with the screen, you need help off the screen, you need somebody to communicate the screen. It seemed like There was a couple of times in this game where the Blazers did not accurately communicate a screen, and therefore the guy trying to get through the screen died on it. And it's like, okay, yeah, he died on it, but if he didn't know the screen was there, of course he died on it. Of course he couldn't get through a screen that he didn't know was there. That's on the guy defending the screener to verbalize to him. And it's not like that arena was super loud or anything when they were on offense. Like, you got to verbalize that to him. So it's a team defense issue, I think, for the most part, the past 3 games. But the Blazers had some signs of this at home where teams just missed some easy shots. The Suns game, one of the Suns games, I don't know if it was the first or the second that I'm remembering, but there was like one of the Suns games where the Suns just got wide open 3 after wide open 3 after wide open 3 and couldn't make anything. And we came on the postgame show and said, we don't think they played particularly good defense. The Suns just didn't make them pay. The Nuggets will make you pay every time. With how well they've been playing lately, they look like they could be destined for another finals championship run. So that's what happened tonight.
Yeah. So the last 2 buckets by him, there's no video available. But the first 18, so I tried to do like who messed up if there was a screen or whatever.
Yeah.
But so I got Denny 4, 2, 3, Banton 4, Ant 3, Chris 1, Repair 1, Sharp 1 where he's all alone on a fast break 1. And I think one of the last 2 was an Ant, so I'll give him a 4th one.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't understand singling out one person as the culprit for Jamal Murray when it was clearly a team effort thing. I mean, Ant wasn't even the guy guarding him most of the game, outside of a few switches onto him. So I feel like this was a poor defensive effort on Jamal Murray by pretty much everyone who took a turn on him, not just like 1 or 2 players.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was the only point I was trying to make in chat. Like, why are we singling out one person?
Yeah, I mean, so Lamar Hurd and what's his name, Jason Benetti. Mm-hmm. They were talking about like watch for the Nuggets to try and target Anthony Simons here. We know teams target him, right? He's not a strong defender.
Course.
Like we know that. It wasn't. It was a team issue more than it was any one guy in this game. It was multiple guys, multiple problems across the board. Like, Ant just doesn't single-handedly give up 132. Ant didn't single-handedly give up 55 to Jamal Murray. Like, Tamani Kamara, just disappointed with some of his defense these last couple games. Denny Avdia, same thing. And I'm really disappointed that you let this dude punk you last game, disrespect you, scream in your face, flex, these antics, got ejected for it. You let him do that, and then the very next night, the very next game, you come out here, you play soft-ass defense, and you let him score a career-high 55 points. Mm-hmm. That's
very little resistance.
It was embarrassing, man. I felt embarrassed for them that you let this dude last game punk you, disrespect you, scream in your face, flex, and then you came out tonight and let him beat you down and destroy you. It's like
freaking trying to get the crowd to be louder. It's so annoying, bro.
It's like it's a pride thing, right? As a competitor, there is absolutely no way this team should have been defending him like they're scared to guard him. That's how they guarded him tonight. That's how they guarded him, man. There's no reason to be going under screens. Like, press up, be physical with him. Like, it's just very disheartening, man. Because if you followed the show, you know, like, I'm a competitive guy, okay? Even watching this team, man, like, my favorite win of the year, outside maybe the Scoot game winner, like one of my favorite wins of the year, you weren't even here for that stream. It was when Anthony Simons got into it with Dylan Brooks after Dylan Brooks was like getting in Shaden Sharp's face, and then Anthony Simons like went off down the stretch and basically single-handedly beat the Rockets on the road. after getting into it with Dylan Brooks. That was one of my favorite wins of the year because it's like Dylan Brooks pulling his antics on Sharp, man, on a basketball play, doing all that extra crap. And then you went out there and you punished him. You punished his team. And you went out there, you responded with your play. And you buried him. You know what I mean? You want to pull that crap? All right. Ant got pissed off? All right. Ant's using that for motivation. Some guys play better when they're mad. Scoot said that about Shaedon Sharp. Maybe we got to piss off Shaedon Sharp every game. But you turn around and you go and you win a basketball game, right? So it's like I love that because that's how you respond. I hate this because you responded to the crap on Monday by letting this dude score a career high.
Yep.
So it's just disgusting to me.
And not only that, but you lose by 30 on Monday. And I know we kept it closer this game, but like that should have been also extra motivation to play a little harder on him too.
Yeah, you would think, man, but
yeah. Well, so going back to what you said about the broadcast mentioning that teams hunt Simons, that is because they know we're going to auto switch. And until that gets fixed, until we either start showing and recovering or hedging or trapping screens or doing something different other than, even if it's a ghost screen, just automatically switching and getting the mismatch that the team is exactly looking for, which is just stupid because we just play right into what they want to do. No, you got to fight through and make them earn it. Like, you can't just let them have the mismatch they want. And until we do that, start doing that, it's hard for me to blame like one person as part of the scheme. Now, I'm not saying anything about Anthony Simons being a good defender or like it's not his fault or anything like that. I'm just saying I really find it troubling that everyone knows the other team's going to hunt that mismatch, and all they have to do is pretend to screen, and they get the mismatch they're exactly looking for. A scrappy team that fights, and you don't want to play them, and they're tough as nails. They don't just give up the mismatch as easy as the Blazers do. So, as Senior Mula says, they had a few games where they did a good job of that, but they also didn't play many like dynamic players. Like I always go back to like Dirk, the way we guarded Dirk Nowitzki for years. You know, like it matters like who the matchup is, because like some teams won't punish you for doing that. They don't have that guy you can throw to at the middle of the key like a Jokic that'll make you pay if you put Anthony Simons on him. But for me, I just want to see them say, okay, you're going to try to hunt Simons. Well, we're going to throw this jump trap at you or something, like, you know, just like do something different to like catch them off guard. But instead we just play right into the offense's hands, and it's no wonder we give up like 130 points in back-to-back games, you know?
Yeah. I mean, part of it is you kind of have to switch when nobody can get through a screen as well. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's not necessarily always scheme. Like there's times where guys just stand on a screen and it's like, all right, this dude's gonna be wide open if you don't step up and switch. So it's an issue. Team wide, it's an issue. Like Anthony Simons is not a good defender, but there's a lot of games where he's the guy everyone wants to single out, and it's like a little bit him and then a little bit even the best defenders on the team also screwing up, because you can be a really good defender and have bad defensive games. Just like you can be a really good offensive player and have bad offensive games, right? Tamani Kamara was not particularly good defensively these last two games before the All-Star break. And he's played terrific defense all year long. On that homestand, he was a game wrecker defensively. He was like, you could put him in Defensive Player of the Year talks with how good he was playing defensively. You know, if you just took that 7-game homestand, right? Like, he was playing as good as like any defender in the league during that stretch. But tonight, the last game, he was not playing particularly good defensively. A lot of it was screen navigation. A lot of it was, you know, just him getting beat, man. And then sometimes good offensive players, they're going to beat good defense. So ultimately, that's basically the lowdown on what happened tonight with Jamal Murray, man. Just very, very disappointed. with that. There's a comment I want to read off. Adam Bombs has been saying it for months. Stuff the screen and stop the switch. Klingon did it once tonight. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, against really good teams that know how to pass, if you're going to hedge the screen or like try and trap the screen, if you do it too much, they will adjust to it and they will quickly pass to the wing, because then that wing can pass to the roll man who's open because you committed 2 guys to the ball. And then if you rotate to the roll man, like, they can swing it and find somebody for an open 3. And then if you defend it perfectly, you're still stuck in rotation. So, like, really, really good defenses maybe can get away with doing it a lot if they rotate really well. The Blazers, they rotated pretty well on the homestand, but that, I don't know. Like, that was a lot of them having a lot of energy, playing a lot of teams on the second night of a back-to-back where they were flying around defensively and other teams just offensively looked a little sluggish. Denver, like, they zip the ball around, right? And that's something where I wish we would surprise teams more with it, because when you surprise teams, that's when it really works. And then when they start to adjust to it, start to try and hit that wing, then you fall back out of it. And you just mix it up, try and keep offenses on their toes where it's not the same read all game. But at the end of the day, like a lot of their actions are good enough where the guy guarding the screener isn't at the level of the screen because they're worrying about a cutter somewhere else, especially Klingon, right? Because they get so many cuts in their half-court offense that Klingon will be off his guy a bit if he's guarding, DeAndre Jordan or even Jokic, right? He'll be off his guy a little bit, where you still got to respect Jokic, of course, but he's there to try and help if somebody gets beat on a cut. And all of a sudden, the ball gets swung so fast, and Jokic is already in a pick and roll where Klingon is not high enough to actually hedge or switch, or not switch, hedge or trap. And people say, oh, yeah, Klingon's not the fastest. Denver runs their stuff so fast that even if you had a very mobile big man, if you're sitting there in the paint, like having to worry about cutters left and right, and then all of a sudden the ball's zipped, and within half a second to a second, there's a pick and roll at the top of the arc, nobody's getting up to the level of the screen that quickly. So that's just what happens to defenses when other teams run good offensive action, man. This is why we talk about the stuff the Blazers run in the half court. Like, yeah, it's a lot easier when you got a guy like Jokic, but if you design stuff better, you don't have to have a guy like that. They don't have to have a guy like that in the game. They can run some of the same stuff with DeAndre Jordan just because he could swing the ball to the other side of the floor and set screens, right? You're not dependent upon the best passing big man to run some of this stuff. Denver, I think you have the combination of Jokic being the greatest player in the league, and then also Michael Malone's a really good coach with how he designs things. So it's just really tough to guard. There's a reason why they're beating almost every team in the league, but this is also why I said, Eric, this is a litmus test for the Blazers. Over that 11-game stretch, they were like the best defense in the league, and it was like, all right, you're going to go up against a Denver team that's playing really good offense. If your defense during that stretch is truly legitimate, you should be able to find ways to slow down Denver, and they couldn't. They failed that litmus test. Yes, they didn't have Jeremy Grant. Yes, they missed DeAndre Ayton for half the game, but DeAndre Ayton was not going to play better defense than Donovan Klingon, right? So it's like, that doesn't matter. And you're not that, like, Jeremy Grant has a lot of bad defensive moments. He hasn't particularly played good defense this year. So I don't want to hear the injury excuse. They failed this litmus test. Like, they got exposed by a team that has good actions and the best player in the world and Jamal Murray, man. You weren't able to slow them down at all. They actually had like good offensive games even by their standards because they put up 146 and 132 on you. And then against Minnesota, when they didn't have Randall or Anthony Edwards, you gave up 38 points in the fourth quarter. This 3-game road trip kind of exposed the Blazers, unfortunately, man. Like, they had a hot defensive streak at home. The truth is that they're not that team. They're not that good defensively. On the season, they're still a borderline bottom 5 defense.
Yep. And the one play that exemplifies everything you said was, okay, so the Blazers are going to drop Klingon, right? So just set a double screen with the second screen being his man, and they did that on top for Jamal. And the second guy getting screened is expecting the person who's guarding the screener to switch or step up, because that's usually what they do. But since it was a double screen, they forgot that it was Klingon, because they're probably told to fight through if it's Klingon's guy. And so Klingon's, 2 steps behind the screen, and Jamal Murray gets a wide open 3 because one of the persons involved in the screen thinks they're switching, and then Klingon's dropping. And it's too easy to confuse the Blazers if the other team knows exactly how we're going to play each screen. You muted.
Yeah, I was correct. Members only Q&A. Do we have any questions here from the members only Q&A? Let's see here. No questions from the members only Q&A. If you guys are a channel member and want your question answered, leave it in the members only Q&A. If for some reason you don't see it, let me know and I can repost it. If for some reason it's YouTube glitching. But yeah, go ahead. Also leave a like on the stream. Easiest way to help us out. Bouquet says, oh, I didn't even see that thing. Yeah, members only Q&A. It's members night, all right? It's members night. So we'll gift a couple memberships a little later in the stream for you guys who are not channel members. You can also click the join button below. A great way to support the channel for as little as $2 a month. Mount Hood 91 says, can't think of anything. Yeah, it's bad, man. It's bad. I think we did a really good job covering the defense. This is a really good Denver team. Just really disappointed with how the Blazers just did not sustain. And Eric, I mean, this is kind of the story under Chauncey, is like they'll have a good spurt and then they'll regress back to being bad on both sides of the floor, especially defense. Like he's never been able to maintain anything but a bottom 10 defense. And everybody always excuses his roster. I don't think the Blazers have below average defensive personnel. Like I think you got a couple guys that struggle. You got a couple really good defensive pieces. I think the Blazers have pretty average defensive personnel. I think they should be borderline top 15. And it's like you don't just accidentally play the best defense in the league over an 11-game stretch if you don't have some good defensive pieces. You know what I mean? Like, that was the Blazers at their peak with some of the personnel they have. They got some guys that can defend. Why are they 25th in adjusted defensive rating? That is an indictment on Chauncey, in my opinion. Like, it's you got a lot of guys that are good defenders, but team defense for the majority of the season has been awful. And then the one stretch where they kind of figured it out, they were the best defense in the league. But whenever they kind of figure something out under Chauncey, it never lasts. It never lasts. So I think that's an indictment on him. Why is that?
Because the same thing happened the year we got off to the hot start. And yeah, I know injuries, just like tonight, injuries, right? We had down three rotation players or whatever.
Yes. Excuse, yeah.
Remember during that hot start, we started running that stupid zone, and it worked for a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. But then teams figured it out really quickly. And into the season, it's still getting torched, but Chauncey's still like having that be a part of our game plan. I think we ran the most zone out of anyone in the league that season. And then, so this is what happens. You start to play better defense, and then it feels to me like Chauncey's then, okay, we figured it out. This is how we have to play defense moving forward. But you can't do that against every team. You can't play the same way. You have to come up with specific game plans for certain players and for different players on the same team.
See, but that's what they did in this game.
No, I know, but like I'm saying, like you can't just expect like the effort to be the reason why your defense is good, though.
Yeah, true.
Like, and so like this game, yes. So starting out the game, when you have Tamani guarding Jokic, I thought that was a nice wrinkle, but that can't be like you're just switching who you're guarding isn't a scheme, right? It's just you're just switching who you're guarding, right? So like out of that, they played defense exactly the same way. It was just Tamani was guarding Jokic, right? So what I'm saying is you need to have a scheme. So The only thing I will say about this game, at least we threw a couple double teams at Jokic, but it seemed really random. Like, I don't know, almost like it was just spontaneous double teams, not really like a game plan to double him. But at least we ran a few double teams at him and did a few things different this game. Didn't matter, though. Still gave him 132 points.
It just feels like when they do double a player like Jokic, or when they double in general under Chauncey, they never know where it's supposed to consistently come from. Like one pass away, Jamal Murray, we're gonna leave him go double. He swings Jamal Murray, it's an open three type stuff. You know what I mean? Like
why is Jamal Murray's guy being the double teamer? That should never happen in a game like this, right?
Yeah, it's just like the double teams seem to come from like random places, and then the team doesn't know exactly how to rotate because they don't know exactly where the double team's supposed to come from, and then they get stuck giving up open shots or like open cuts because they don't know what their responsibility is behind the double team. And that's always been a problem under Chauncey. So apparently they watched a lot of film on it in this game, but it didn't really work. And you can play really good defense behind a double team, and Jokic can still pick you apart. It was just like there was just a few times where it was like, man, you guys might just be better letting Jokic try and beat you instead of trying to run these double teams at him, letting Jamal Murray score 55, Julian Strother get open shots, like Christian Brown get his, everybody else is getting his, because you just don't know how to double and then rotate out of it. And there's just multiple times where like Jokic throws a pass, and he's a really good passer. He's going to find guys. But it's like Jokic will throw a pass, and the Blazers won't react to it right away. You know what I mean? Like they are a step or two slow where like he swings the ball to the opposite corner, and the guy who's guarding him is like rotating into the paint because they're sending a double team his way, so he's supposed to help into the middle of the paint. But if you're rotating into the middle of the paint, like right when you see that ball going out there, you should know like, oh, that's my guy, and be sprinted out there before the offensive player even catches the pass. But there's just times where like Jokic will throw that pass, and the guy whose responsibility is to cover that corner will like watch the pass and then realize, oh, wait, that's me. And it's not instantaneous. You got to move when the ball's in the air. And that's kind of my point about their rotations. And when they double, man, is you got players on this team that don't seem to know what their responsibilities are behind it. And to me, that is a coaching issue. Because you just played game 55 of the season. You just reached the All-Star break. You should be able to orchestrate double teams and have guys know, all right, you're supposed to help into the paint and then run back out to the first pass to the weak side, or run back out to the corner at least to the weak side, right? Those are your two responsibilities. Because the most backside guy in a lot of double teaming schemes, they're going to be responsible for two players because you're sending two players to the ball. So two players is guarding one. So somewhere else on the floor, one defender is going to have to guard two, right? And normally it's the guy guarding the player that's furthest away from the ball, because if the ball gets skipped there, that's the longest pass. You have the most time to rotate back out to that. But the Blazers like don't actually take advantage of that pass being longer. Because the pass gets made, they turn and watch it, and then they realize, oh yeah, that's me. I got to go out there, and at that point, it's a wide open three without anyone within 10 feet of him. So Sharp had that happen to him tonight, man. That's a problem with Shaedon Sharp, like the awareness, the being able to lock in on what his responsibilities are defensively. He seems to really struggle with that. I guess that's why Chauncey started Chris Murray instead of him in this game. So, it's an issue for Sharp, but it's an issue for the whole team. And that's just where it's like, Chauncey, man, you got to figure out how to get these guys locked in on what you're supposed to do. And there's just a lack of progress with that. Because it's not like when they were playing the best defense in the league during that 11-game stretch. It's not like they were having to double team a bunch of players. They were just winning one-on-one. Defense is a lot easier when you can just win one-on-one. And then if somebody gets beat, you just kind of like rotate randomly. And with your energy and length, you're able to shut that down and disrupt some passes, tip some passes, get guys stuck in tough spots, right? Like, yeah, okay, that's what they did. But then when you go up against a player like this, man, you look awful. I don't think that's a coincidence, and I think that's because of they're just not good schematically, they're not good at knowing what their responsibilities are, reacting fast enough. And a lot of that does fall on Chauncey. So, we'll see if Chauncey's back next year. I don't think that 11-game sample should play a factor at all because this is just kind of the epitome it's the epitome of a Chauncey Billups team. It's you have some good moments, and then when it's time to really lock in schematically, defensively, his teams can't do it. And his teams don't seem to improve at doing it. He's never been able to orchestrate double teams correctly. He's never been able to get his teams to rotate consistently, correctly when the ball's in the air. And it doesn't matter if he has vets or young players. That's always been a problem under him.
Mm-hmm. I did love that the broadcast specifically showed them at practice all huddled around a projector going over defense. So at least we know they actually did it.
Yeah, I mean, Chauncey's trying, man, but it's like it comes down to, is he capable of actually teaching it? Mm-hmm. Is he capable of effectively teaching it? I just don't think he is. OKC's one of the youngest teams in the league, but they rotate really, really well, and they all seem to know exactly what their responsibilities are so they can react at the snap of a finger right when a pass is being made. Sometimes, they will anticipate passes knowing, okay, I'm taking this away. The second I start to see the guy throwing the ball towards the corner, I'm already running, even before the ball even leaves his hands. The Blazers wait until the offensive player catches it a lot of times. So,
yeah, and I mean it's tough when you play a team like Denver. That's just, I mean, we know they're one of the best offenses, if not the best offense right now in the NBA, and I mean having a player like Jokic just changes the whole dynamic of an offense. You have to guard everyone. I don't really know what I would do in that situation. I'd probably just make Jokic score 60 points to beat me and just make sure I don't get abused off cuts and 3-point shots and stuff. But I mean, that doesn't necessarily work either. So it is a tough matchup, especially when you're starting Chris Murray in your starting lineup. Not that he played bad or anything. It's just, we're trying to beat a team that's won a recent championship, and we're starting Chris Murray. It's I'm not saying injuries are the reason why we lost this game, but I don't know what you're supposed to do.
That wide open three that he airballed by 2 feet, Eric.
Dude, he caught it weird and then shot it. He didn't even go into his normal form when he shot it.
It was bad, man.
Yeah.
He's
not things in this game, but
he's not an NBA player. He's not an NBA player.
He's fine.
If he hit free agency today, I don't know if a team would pick him up. Maybe on a 10-day or a 2-way. He's an unathletic 6'7" power forward that can't shoot.
Yeah, but he's a decent defender, and
I mean, but you can find more.
Okay.
You can find more athletic defenders that defend as well as he does, that are at least athletic, so can make things happen with their athleticism. Mm. I just if he could shoot, he'd be fine. The biggest problem is a lack of a shot. He's shooting. Do you know what he's shooting right now from 3? It's funny because he was 2 for 4 from 3 in this game, so he actually made a couple this game. Yay, good job. But do you know what he's shooting on the season from 3?
I know it's under 30%.
I don't know if this accounts for tonight's game, so it probably went up, but 26.6%. On the season, he's shot 36 free throw attempts. He's shooting 44% from the free throw line.
Oh, it's guaranteed he's missing 1 or 2. Same with Klingon.
He's 16 for 36 from the free throw line. Klingon, I think, is 70%, Eric.
From free throw?
Yeah. Yeah, last I checked.
Doesn't feel like it.
Last I checked, before this game, 69% from the free throw line for Klingon.
That's better than I would have guessed.
And then what did he go from the free throw line today?
I don't. Let me see.
3 for 5. 3 for 5.
Yeah.
Chris Murray, what did he go from the free throw line today? 0 for 2.
Yeah.
0 for 2. Like he just doesn't have good touch. Like he just doesn't, man. He doesn't. It's funny because he was a +7 in this game. But he's just like the Blazers. The Blazers got a lot of guys that I'm starting to think like, man, they could, if they were cut, like a team would probably take a flyer, but like they could easily be out of the league in 2 years. I think Uprise is one of those guys. I think Repair just, he's very young and still very raw. Like he could fall out of the shuffle very easily. And then Chris Murray's one of those guys. Jabari Walker's one of those guys. Delano Banton, I think, might be one of those guys, man. We can talk about him in a little bit. But since we're on the topic, Eric, since we're on the topic of non-NBA players, I have a question for you. All right?
Okay.
I have a question for you.
Well, you're teeing that up. Doo-Wop doesn't even play when we're down 2 centers.
I know. It's crazy.
Oh,
He
that
played a
shows.
lot last year.
Yeah.
My question for you, though, is who's going to win Celebrity Game MVP? The favorite is Matt Barnes. Well, that actually was an NBA player. He's plus 300 on BetUS Sportsbook. Are you taking Drewski at plus 2,500? Have you seen that dude shoot a basketball? Do you know who Drewski is?
Yeah, I know who Drewski is, but
Kai Cenat plus 1,600. And if you don't want to take lines on that,
well,
Kai Cenat is plus 1,000 to get ejected during the Celebrity All-Star Game.
wait, isn't it all 100% just fan votes who wins though? Because then Kevin Hart just won. Like Kevin Hart would win every year,
Yeah.
no matter like what he did.
If it's fan votes, Kai Cenat plus 1,600.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, dude, Kai Cenat plus 1,600. If it's fan votes, that's actually great
I
odds.
haven't even looked at these rosters. Team Jerry Rice? What the heck?
You got Jerry Rice versus Barry Bonds.
What is this?
So Team Jerry Rice is the favorite, minus 130.
Mm-hmm.
So
See,
you
I'm
can
not
go
gonna-
with you roll with your guy Jerry Rice.
Is he actually playing too? Or just
I don't think they're playing.
yeah.
How many steroids did Barry Bonds take if he's playing in this game to get prepared for it?
Bonds is coaching with 2 Chainz. See, I will.
If 2 Chainz was playing, I would take Barry Bonds minus 110. 2 Chainz was a college player. He was legit, actually, but that's a funny pairing.
I would never pick like a former player to win MVP. It's just lame.
They don't try that hard because why would they?
Yeah.
Terrell Owens can dunk. Maybe he can't anymore, but he could back in his day. Listen, Kai Cenat plus 1,600 in case it's a fan vote, but I think he can kind of play a little bit, and he's the type of guy that would try really, 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 really hard.
Yeah.
So that's who I'm taking, Eric. Chat, who are you taking? This is where we're at. Celebrity All-Star Game tomorrow. You can have some fun with it. Use BetUS. Promo code YouTube150.
Let's play the fun game of how many of these people does Eric not know?
Yeah. We'll play that game. I got to shout out the promotion, man, because you can have some fun with that promo code YouTube150. 150% sign-up bonus, and followed by 2 125% bonuses up to $2,000. If you want to get in on Kai Cenat or Drewski for Celebrity All-Star Game MVP. All right, who do you not know, Eric? Pop culture test.
Who the hell is Bailey? Is that the wrestler?
I have no idea. I don't know who Pablo Schreiber is. Dylan Wang, Danny Ramirez, like Walker Hayes, isn't he I recognize Walker Hayes, but I don't know what from. Dude, I don't.
Country singer or something.
That's what I was thinking, but
Shelby McEwen.
I also feel like Walker Hayes is a very country singer type of name, so I didn't just want to say I think he's a country singer. Rome Flynn. Do you know what's sad is I probably don't know half of these names.
Yeah.
We got to do better. The Creator Cup, I would know a lot more of those names.
I know Shabuzi.
Yeah. But will Kai Cenat throw a basketball into stands during game? Yes, plus 800. It's always funny just to look at these random lines that you can actually place money on. But we'll take a look at All-Star Weekend a little later in the post-game for like 3-point contest, that sort of stuff. That'll be fun to actually take a look at. But shout out to BetUS. You can get in on that action. Use that promo code. Shout out to them for sponsoring the post-game show. I felt that. I was like, we gotta have some fun with that. We gotta have some fun on this post-game show, man. DK Metcalf? Is DK Metcalf in it?
I didn't see him on there. I think people are saying they want him to play, maybe.
Oh. Yeah, I didn't see him on there either. What is DK's like name? What is his first name? Isn't it like Decorian or something like that? I could be completely wrong. Could be completely wrong. Anyway. Members only Q&A. Do we have any Q&A questions from our lovely channel members? Whoops, I clicked the wrong thing. Questions. Oh, we got a bunch. All right, Brandon. New channel member. Taking advantage of it, too. Says, internet is wonky, so if this was already covered, then apologies. But are we giving any pass to Tamani's defense for being tasked with covering Jokic for a good portion of the game? Thank you, Brandon, for the question. I think, like, on Jokic, he did the best he could. I think the biggest problem with Tamani was, like, getting beat off the dribble a little more often than usual, and then struggling navigating screens a little bit more than usual. I think those were the two biggest issues with him. Do you agree with that, Eric?
I mean, it took a lot of energy to guard Jokic. I thought he did a pretty good job, but you're just not going to be able to stop him with most people, including Tamani. I thought the block he had on him was awesome, where he recovered. Jokic thought he had a lay-in. But yeah, I thought Tamani, for the most part, did a pretty good job. But yeah. Yeah.
I just read your first message.
I was testing to see if I could leave it members only.
Nice. Well, yeah, like non-channel members can leave questions, but sorry, we're going to ignore them because it's a members-only Q&A. We got a question from Eric Olson, and Eric Olson is a channel member. I'm sad about that because Eric Olson is one of the OGs, a real one, always here. And I thought he was a channel member, so. But he left a question. He's the only name not in green in this list of questions, unfortunately. So I'll just give him a shout-out instead of answering the question. Just because rules are rules, man. I any day I would answer your question, Eric, except today, because rules are rules. Chris S. says, Cronin has signed a lot of long switchable wing/guards. Should he be blamed for the lazy switching since it seems to be a tactic he's recruiting for, or is this on Chauncey for not coaching better? I think it's absolutely on Chauncey because you can designate certain guys as switchable with each other, right? So it's like, if you're playing with Grant, Tamani, Avdia, 2 through 4, those three guys can switch with each other. But that doesn't mean that Grant, if he's guarding, I don't know, KD, should switch with Anthony Simons, right? He can switch with Kamara because they're very similar defensively, so it's not much of a difference. And actually, it's probably better because Kamara's better on the ball, right? So switching into that matchup would be better. Or switch with Avdia because all those guys are like 6'8", 6'9", and can defend. So that's fine. But, like, if you got Kamara on Jamal Murray, you don't want to switch Kamara with Klingon and have Klingon on Jamal Murray, so to say. So you can have parts of the lineup that are switchable with each other, but you don't switch between guys that aren't similar. So that is absolutely on Chauncey. Just because you're switchable 2 through 4 doesn't mean you switch your point guard with your center.
Mm-hmm. You also, I'm seeing multiple times in these games where they do get switched. It could easily switch back real quick and recover, and they just don't. They just leave the guy on an island, and it's frustrating.
Yep. Oh God. I just read the band.
Terry Stotts super fan.
Terry Stotts super fan, man.
I think we should read that. That's funny.
I just find it funny how like the same people make the same accounts over and over again. It just shows how we live rent free. They keep like making new accounts to subscribe to. It's funny. I'm not gonna read that off, man. That's just funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, like basically you just have certain people that are sheltered in this world, and any criticism is the worst thing ever, and they have a complete meltdown and have to make 100 YouTube accounts because how dare any criticism ever be placed upon anyone. So that's the syndrome right there.
How pathetic it is that their life is just creating YouTube accounts to say the same crap to us every stream.
Arrow quoted it. Yeah, there you go. Get the last part too.
Yeah. You know what's funny?
What's up?
Why do people think we want to be miserable?
They don't think. No, Eric. See, you always start thinking about like these people being reasonable, and at that point you've already lost the plot. They don't think.
Right.
All right. You're thinking too much for them. All right.
Yeah.
So that's when like the other stream I was like, I forget what it was, but it's just like we gotta stop responding because it's just troll.
Yeah.
They're doing it. We reward them. We can't even complain about that stuff because we reward it. Look at us. We're talking about it. You know what I mean? So it's very well rewarded from us. That's on us.
Just the idea, though, that we're supposed to be happy that
we gave up 146 to 132 when we were playing as the best defense in the league for 11 games.
Yeah.
Because all those same people acted like that 11-game stretch was like legitimate. Look how good we are now. All right, well, fine. I'll start holding this defense to a very high standard. And then they give up 146 and 132, and it's like, why are you guys being so negative? You wanted us to hold this defense to a high standard. You're the ones telling us that 11-game sample is legitimate. Because if we sat there and said, no, this 11-game sample is not legitimate, I'm not going to hold this defense to that high of a bar because I don't think it's sustainable, then we would be negative. But if we do hold them to that standard and then they flame out like they have the last two games and we call it what it is, then we're still negative. So there's literally no way around it. Like, it's just always a contradiction. So it's the funny part about it all.
And I don't give a crap what Joe Cronin tried to tell us in his conference. There is no way he didn't let that 11-game sample size factor into any of his decisions. There's just not, Tori. Like,
I had the feeling he wasn't going to do anything before that stretch.
Well, yes.
So it's very possible it didn't factor in because if he was deciding on doing nothing, he still decided on doing nothing.
That gave all the fans of his reason to believe what he was saying.
I mean, like we gotta stop referencing the echo chamber and the black hole that is Reddit.
Yes, but
I know they're mean to us, Eric, but
no,
we don't need to. We don't need to go there. Like it's a ridiculous place.
Make, Tori, is that like we want to be happy about the direction of this team.
We say this all the time, though.
I know we were happy, though.
but like, how many times do we got to say it before we just stop saying it? Like, people know what it is.
I'm just saying, like, we were not that miserable. I mean, yeah, it sucked that we were losing all the time, but like, at least we were down there at the bottom of towards the bottom of the lottery standings, and teams like the Pelicans and Jazz and stuff, Brooklyn were starting to win some games. You know, Toronto got a little better, was winning some games. Like, we had a legit chance to do something really special in terms of lottery odds. And I get if you don't want to be a lottery team, but that doesn't make us miserable because, like, we now are like, okay, if we're going to be good, let's be good. And then they go back to sucking again right when it's too late to do anything about it. Like, why should we be happy about that?
Yeah, I mean... Yeah, if you thought that 11-game sample was real, then that means you should have been holding this team to a higher standard than they've met the last 3 games. Mm-hmm. Or you don't think it was real and this doesn't surprise you at all. So which one is it? I just don't see how it's not one or the other. I just think people end up contradicting themselves a lot. So it's whatever. Like they legitimately had a lot of defensive breakdowns today. Pointing that out is what we'll do. Like, we're not gonna sit here and just like, well, they multiple times left Jamal Murray wide open. They multiple times they had complete defensive breakdowns. But you know what? They only gave up 132, so it's okay. We're not going to talk about that. We only lost by 11. Yay! Like, what are you talking about? Taylor, you hit it on the head, man. You absolutely hit it on the head. Alex Wolf, yes, it did. We'll read it off in a second. You hit it on the head. So, yeah. Anyway. Shout out to Alex Wolf, $2 donation. Says, Delta Center, check, 10 arenas down. Nice, you're a third of the way there. 10 out of 30 because now the Clippers have their own arena. So, now every team has their own arena. So, you're getting there. Thank you for the donation, Alex.
Yeah. When he planned this trip, I'm sure he wasn't planning on seeing Luka. And if you would have told him when he planned this trip that he was going to see Luka in Utah with the Lakers and Utah Jazz playing,
yeah, like that's crazy. That's crazy. And also that they were going to lose by 12 to the Jazz.
Right. After just kicking their butt a few days ago.
Oh man, that's crazy. How do you lose by 12 to the Jazz, man? With Luka and LeBron. They give up 131 points. That's the problem. They're starting Jackson Hayes at center. He played 7 minutes for some reason. They played played Alex Len 22 minutes in 2025. That dude is so bad. They played Bronny 8 minutes and he had 9 points and was a plus 10. I assume that was all at the end. Like, were they down that bad? What the hell?
Step back 3, yeah.
2 for 3 from 3 for Bronny, 3 for 4 from the field, plus 10. Free Bronny. Play Bronny more. Play Bronny at center. Might be better than Alex Len. Alex Len is so bad, man. They're kind of screwed. They're not, like, defensively with Reeves and Doncic and LeBron's 40s. So, like, Rui in your starting lineup and then Jackson Hayes. I mean, that's how you end up giving up 131 to Utah. They gave up 104 points through the first 3 quarters to the Jazz. That's not good.
Speaking of like around the NBA type stuff, I've been watching this bottom ticker. I can't believe some of the names on here. Like, what the heck is this night, dude? Damian Baugh?
Damian Baugh? You never heard of Damian Baugh?
No, I'm not saying I've never heard of him. I'm just saying, like, how are these guys like the player of the game? It's like,
if somebody has like 16, if somebody has like 19 points, 5 boards, 3 assists, and then like a far lesser known player has like 16 points, 5 boards and 2 assists. I'll just put the lesser known player since
Quentin Post and
like if Steph goes off for 45 and Quentin Post has 20, I'm gonna put Steph. Okay, I'm gonna put Steph. Yeah. But if it's close, I always choose the name that like look at what this guy did. So yeah, we got Damian Baugh up there. The problem is the slideshow won't let me show 15 games, so I just gave up. I just stopped at like 7. There's 15 games today. As much as I wanted to put Jamal Murray 55 points down there, I didn't.
There's also a game that has Trendon Watford and who's the other one?
Trendon Watford and Quentin Grimes had 30
Quentin
today.
Grimes at 30, yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy. Blazers, So speaking of Quentin Post, I went back. Chad, do you remember when we thought we drafted Quentin Post for a second?
I thought we knew that pick was being traded pretty quick.
No. Well, there was like 30 seconds where we thought Quentin Post was a Blazer.
Yeah.
Like 45 seconds. And it didn't make any sense because we already had 4 centers and we drafted Clingan. I started to like him a little bit, like the 2 days leading up to the draft, I started seeing his name on like mock draft. I was like, oh, this guy's like 7 foot and can shoot. Next Myers Leonard. But yeah, I started to like him a little bit. I had him at the back end, like in the 50s somewhere, and then we drafted him. I didn't like it just because it made no sense for us. But you hated it, Eric. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
You hated it. And now look at him, proving you wrong.
Well, I hated him for our team with our specific dynamic.
I know. But he's proving you wrong, okay?
Yeah, sure.
Proving you wrong.
Go Quinn Post.
But yeah, no, we traded him.
Sorry
We traded him for cash, guys. You see, he's been actually helpful for Golden State recently, like playing some good minutes. Yeah, not only did we trade him for cash, but we traded a higher pick for the pick that drafted him. We traded the higher pick for that pick in cash, and then we traded that pick for more cash. But no, we don't need more talent on this team. We're just going to keep running it back with guys that we know are not going to pan out in the NBA or not be like meaningful players. I would always rather take a flyer on someone new and just like hope you struck a diamond in the rough, drafted Jalen Wells. Maybe you get a Jalen Wells. Like, I'd rather take a chance on that happening, even if it's small, than sit here like continuously running out, lineups with like, oh yeah, Chris Murray. But we drafted him in the first round. Or like Duaparith is not going to be on this team in 2 years. Delano Banton probably is not going to be on this team in 2 years. If so, he better not be playing, man. Like, he's just not a winning player. He's just not a winning player. Unless he can get scorching hot every once in a while, then he can win you a game. But like on a night in, night out basis, you can't rely upon that dude to do anything particularly well. 52 true shooting percentage. He's inefficient. He's ball dominant. He plays awful defense, Eric. He plays awful defense. Like in this game, he was one of the, like, people think Ant plays awful defense. I think Delano Banton might be even worse. He gets steals and uses his length. He actually had a stretch of decent defense earlier in the season because he was like doing a good job of using his length to disrupt stuff. But as far as like off-ball team defense, that dude is lost all the time. All the time. And he was one of the guys that tried to go under the pick and roll on Jamal Murray today. Like, you know what I mean? I'd rather somebody try and go over, die trying, and like get completely taken out of the play by the screen. But at least you tried to go over. At least you weren't dumb. You just failed. Okay? At least you weren't dumb. You just failed. I would rather you not be dumb and fail than to do both. Okay? A smart failure is better than a dumb failure, Eric. And that's some of Ant's defense is he'll try and do the right thing and he'll just fail at executing it. And he's just not a particularly good defender. Delano Banton has a lot of moments where it's like, dude, what are you doing defensively? So.
Yep. He's rough.
City going to be one of the only players still on the team in 2 years. Yeah, like, there's a reason why I like City Sissoko more than Justin Minaya or Taze Moore.
Did you see they signed him to a 2-year, two-way?
Yeah, that's a win. Good job, Cronin.
I mean,
that's Eric, that is the best move of the trade deadline by us.
Oh, it's our only move. What are you talking about?
Let me be positive, man.
It's also our worst move because there's no other move.
See, that's that glass half empty.
I just want to be miserable and say it's a bad move. Even though I like City Sissoko. Best trade deadline move in the last 2 years. Does Chad agree with that or not? Was this a better pickup than Delano Banton? I just don't like Banton, man. Like, he doesn't make his teammates better. He turns over the ball a little too much. Like, ball handling's a little rough. Defense is rough. Like, he's just a scorer that doesn't score well enough to consistently rely upon him. If he gets hot, he can change a game. But you can say that for a lot of guys. On the season, he's been very inefficient. And on his whole career, he's been very inefficient. He takes some weird shots. He takes some bad shots. And, like, in this game, okay, he had how many points? I think it was, like, 5 for 13.
Yeah, no, he was 5 for 13, 3 for 8 from 3. Okay, that's fine. 5 assists, 4 turnovers. Minus 19. Worst on the team. He's just like the type of guy where he can make some shots and look like he had a decent game and like get a couple of assists here or there, but it just feels like his impact he just does not have a positive impact on the game. It's just like the feeling that he gives me. Do you like get where I'm coming from with that, Eric?
Maybe he needs to start, Tori.
Yeah, something like that.
You said some people play better starting. Just kidding.
That dude is such a microwave. I think he would be worse if he started. That's what I'm going to go with. Chat, I understand if you disagree with it, but like, hopefully you get where I'm coming from with that. It's kind of hard to articulate that, but let's answer some more questions. Shout out to Wes Davison, says, after we don't trade Grant in the offseason, will Cronin say it's easier to trade him at the deadline? LOL. Well, he's not going to say, oh, yeah, it's easy to trade Grant when Grant's on the team. He's not going to talk about trading Grant as long as Grant's on the team. So,
we have chosen to concentrate on our next trade window and maximize their value then versus now.
No, it's just going to be GM speak. We're going to continue to see what's out there. We're going to continue to be aggressive and diligent in terms of seeing what opportunities there are out there for us. And
you can't question any of my non-moves because I laid the groundwork for a trade that's coming later. You'll see. You're just going to have to trust me.
I mean, he did it with Denny. He laid the groundwork there, apparently. So just give him a chance. He has a plan. His plan is to not make trades in order for him to make trades in the future. That's his plan. Be so inactive that at some point he ends up being active. Genius stuff. It's chess, not checkers, Eric. Shout out to Bougays. Says, why are we starting Chris Murray? Because Shaden Sharp is in the doghouse. He's in the doghouse. It's not somewhere you want to be. The doghouse is another word for the bench. Even when he has had good games lately, there's games where he'll score and won't be worse than a number of players on the team defensively, and he'll play 20 minutes or 24 minutes. So, yeah.
Do you think, because, he passed the ball well in
7
this
assists,
game.
only 1 turnover. It was nice.
Yeah, so I thought he did a good job of making up a little bit for Scoot being absent. But the shooting, man, especially in the first half, he was brutal on offense other than a couple passes. It was bad. Do you think any of that has to do with him being a little, I don't know what the right word is, just kind of down in the dumps because he didn't start when we had injuries? And it's hard to tell. Yeah. I'm just wondering, as someone who got benched, he hasn't played the greatest defense since he had gotten benched, so I guess you could justify not starting him if you're Chauncey for that reason. But there has been some games where Chauncey's yeah, he's finally doing what I want him to as well. So I don't know, just kind of mixed messaging.
Yeah. That's weird.
Yeah, he was much better in the second half, but I feel like, I don't know, I would be kind of pissed off and not respond well if
the
Chris
funny
Murray
thing is
started over me if I'm Shaden Sharp,
Yeah, that's kind of silly. But the funny thing is, when healthy, he's not even the 6th man. That's how weird our situation is.
Yeah.
He's the 7th man. Scoot Henderson is the 6th man. So, unfortunately, he got hurt. But, if there's a time to get hurt, it's with 1 game left until the All-Star break, and hopefully he'll be back after. I think he could be back first game after the break.
Yeah, it just sucks. He's already been ruled out of the All-Star weekend, so.
Yeah. Yeah, he was questionable and then ruled out for this game, so that would lead you to think, he's not going to risk it or play on it when he's not 100% healthy at All-Star Weekend. But he could be back for Thursday is what that suggests to me. Because I want to see him play, man. I want to see him play. But we'll read a couple more questions, and we'll talk about a guy who's going to get a great opportunity due to DeAndre Ayton's injury. That, of course, is clinging. Shout out to Brandon. Says, second question, just because it was a hot topic before you guys went live, do you give Anthony Simons any leeway for his poor defense for carrying such a large offensive burden? No, like, I don't think Ant's effort is particularly bad. And I don't think, like, his bad defense is due to him being too tired. I think it's just he's small, he has bad technique, and he's not strong, and, like, he just has a lot of things that lead to him being a bad defender that, you know, is not something he can just decide to do a better job at on a game-in, game-out basis. So that's why it's not even necessarily about leeway. It's just about, like, yeah, he's just in a lot of lineups, if you're a good defense, he's going to be your worst defender on the floor. Hopefully the team defense responsibilities, rotations, you know, where you double from, how you rotate behind it, how you cover pick and rolls, like, hopefully all that's locked in on a team basis where you can still play good defense, because I think there's bigger problems than just, like, necessarily the personnel on the floor defensively. So, legit question, though. A shout out to
Eric Olson is now a member, if you want to read his question.
Oh, he's now a member. Nice. Effective members night, because we got Eric Olson in. Says, do you think the Suns will miss the play-in?
Yeah, they're so bad.
Dude, they are a game out. Golden State, I think, is going to make it. I don't think Sacramento makes it, man. I know they've won 3 in a row. I just don't believe in that roster. They just signed Markelle Fultz. If I had to pick right now, I think Phoenix is in the 9-10 play-in with either Dallas or Golden State. That's my prediction. The Sacramento and San Antonio are on the outside looking in. And Portland, since I need to specify that, apparently. Play-in, Eric.
Man, how do you possibly not even make a top 10 seed in the West with KD and Booker? And so bad.
Because the rest of your roster is very limited.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they don't have much creation outside of that, and they don't have a lot of good defenders that can make a difference on that end. Their bigs are bad. Yeah, they just got some serious flaws, unfortunately for them. Shout out to I'm Adam. His question makes no sense to me, though, Eric. Thoughts on Banton threatening to kill Murray?
Jamal Murray said
Jamal
after
Murray.
the game. Yeah, Jamal Murray after the game on Monday was asked what Banton said to him, and he said he threatened to kill him.
I was thinking Chris Murray. I was real confused.
No.
I like that Banton didn't take that BS lying down, okay? That's obviously it's not a serious
threat. Yeah.
Threat. Like, obviously not, all right? Obviously not. So it could have meant kill him on the basketball court, because we know Banton is a confident basketball player.
Did you see Nurk started for Charlotte tonight?
Yeah, there's a question about one of his comments that we're going to get to.
Alfred Payton as well.
Alfred Payton?
Yeah.
Nice. He's back in the league again. That's funny. Shout out to Wes Davis that says, why is Chris Murray's shot so ugly and our coaches not working with him on it? Are our coaches not working on him with it? He's the type of guy that seems like he shoots really well in practice, but when you get into the speed of an NBA game, like, it just disrupts him, the way he shoots the ball. Like, that one he caught, he didn't even have his hands on it right. He didn't really dip it. He just kind of tried to, like, catch it and just shoot it immediately. And I've always said, like, I think when Chris Murray has some time, he can make threes, but when he doesn't have all the time in the world, he just seems like a guy that's always going to struggle. Like, his shot takes too much time. And it's just stiff. It's just stiff.
Also playing in front of 10, 20,000 people. I mean, nerves play a part of it too. When you're in practice,
Well,
you
I
don't
mean,
have that
yeah,
pressure, you know?
yeah.
Like some people that does affect them. Like
Well,
they
if you want to be an NBA player, you got to get used
no,
to it.
I understand. You're right. I'm just saying, like, not everyone is Tory who thinks that he'd never be affected by a free throw with a crowd yelling at him or whatever.
I don't even know what you're talking about. I would make one of two and shoot better than 44%. I would shoot 50%.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna go with. All right.
All right.
44%. 16 for 36. That's awful, man. That's awful. First career 57% free throw shooter. He was supposed to be a shooter when he came into the league. Why the hell did I just that pick was so bad, man. And at the time, there was people like after the draft, oh, experts say it was a good pick, and the Blazers apparently, according to them, had a lottery grade on him. How in the world did you have a lottery grade on him? No offense to the guy, I'm just baffled by how they possibly had a lottery grade on him. And I like Rupert, I like the pick, but I don't understand how you have a lottery grade on Rupert either. And that's the funny thing is they get all this credit for trading for Tamati, but it's like the draft 3 months prior, they passed on Tamati for Chris Murray and Ryan Rupert. So that's why I'm like not fully confident in their scouting department compared to other NBA teams, because every scouting department is going to have their misses. Just at the time, I did not understand why Chris Murray, they had a lottery grade on him. I had him as like early to mid second, and so. But hey, he made a couple shots tonight. Good for him. Shout out to Funk Master General says, I found out today that Elon has a child named X. What letter of the alphabet would you name one of your children after, Eric? If you had to name your child after a letter.
Q. I don't know.
I know. There's somebody that's like played in my rec league that's friends with one of the guys that plays in my rec league, and we call him Q. His name is Quincy, but we call him Q. That's a pretty cool name, Q.
Nice.
Maybe J, because Jay is like an actual name. Yeah. Or just W.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Shout out to Brandon. Says, can we talk about Yusuf Nurkic's postgame comments tonight? LOL. Did you see his comments, Eric?
I heard something about Anthony on Orlando or something. Is that what you're talking about?
I need to find him. My computer keeps logging out of my accounts for some reason, so I need to go on my
why
laptop.
he's talking about Anthony and Orlando. It makes no sense.
Because they
Was that just someone
They
saying?
played Orlando today.
Oh, okay.
And maybe he's rooting for what Ant wants. I don't know. Can somebody post the quote in the live chat? We'll read it off instead of me trying to scour through Twitter while we're streaming. Final member question we got. Jason Hawley says, if you were Joe Cronin looking forward to the offseason, what trades would you make? Would you go after if we could get lucky enough to land Coop? Yeah, if we got lucky enough to land Cooper Flag, it's just literally like find a way to get rid of Grant. Like what he if we got Cooper Flag and we were starting Jeremy Grant over him at the start of the season.
God.
Could you imagine that? Like regardless, they got to find a way to get rid of Grant, man. Like they are, that is becoming a major negative contract, which is just stupid that we're in that position with them. I mean, and then I don't know, like, I would not hate the idea of, I kind of would. If you got Cooper Flag, though, you could justify, like, going after a young star. and just like having a window of maybe contention for a while, because Cooper Flag I think is going to be as good as a rookie if you get a young star to pair with him that can like be a part of the team for multiple years and they would want to be there with them. Like, and you got all the other pieces, all the other good role players you have, then that's really intriguing. Like, if you get Cooper Flag, I think we could talk about maybe there's a young enough star out there that would make sense to go after right away, just because we would have enough upside on our roster to progress to the next stage with Cooper Flag. I just don't know who that would be.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe someday the Mavericks will trade Luka.
Yeah, maybe one day we can get Luka from Dallas, man. We'll trade him Klingon, since I bet they'll want some defense because Luka is fat and doesn't play defense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, although, I don't know if I'd trade Klingon for him. Anyway, thank you for the questions. Steven, I'll answer this since you're new here. This was a members-only Q&A, but I'll answer it just since you're new. He says, new here. Stephen Olvange says, new here, tired of the Homer short-sighted fans. Pissed we're not tanking and didn't move Grant Simons. Is there an actual plan for the season now that we've scuffed our lottery odds? Man, everything you're saying is what we were preaching when we live streamed the trade deadline. And yeah, I mean, I don't really understand what the plan is. The plan couldn't have been to keep Jeremy Grant at the deadline, right? The plan couldn't have been to keep Robert Williams at the deadline. I think the problem is Joe Cronin doesn't know how to properly sell and like has an asking price that if teams don't meet, he's completely fine just not doing anything. But that creates other issues with vets in the way of young players and a very bloated payroll where you don't have flexibility to accumulate assets. You don't have flexibility to kind of mold your roster around your young core. You're just stuck with some older guys and some younger guys, and you're not really committing to either. So, obviously they should commit to the young core, commit to the young guys. That's something they haven't done through their moves, though, during this rebuild. So, yeah, it does feel like they don't really have a plan. And they've always struggled to do what they say they want to do. They struggled to build around Dame when they said they were going to be super aggressive. The last offseason when he demanded a trade leading up to that, they did absolutely nothing to make a move to help him win now. And then they go into this rebuild, but they still keep the vets. So it's just they really struggle at picking a direction and sticking with it.
What are you talking about, Tori? They traded Josh Hart to set up that move.
We really traded Josh Hart for Chris Murray. Anyway, go on.
Rip City put the quote from Nurk. This is way more hilarious than
yeah
I thought it would be. Okay. Because I just saw the paraphrase of it.
Yeah, no, it's funny, bro.
Nurk says, I think they are a really good young team and they're doing a really good job talking about the Orlando Magic. They have a really good coaching staff, but I think they're missing one player. I can't name it, but that's my little fella from Portland. But I love my Portland people, but I think they are waiting and missing one player to be a really good team. My little fella from Portland, all right.
I love Nurk, man. I love Nurk. Like, that's funny. I mean, we've kind of been saying, Orlando's perfect for Simons, man. It's funny to hear Nurk come out and say it.
And I'll keep saying this. For some reason, Orlando has no interest in Anthony Simons. It's so weird.
They're stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you need somebody that can help your team create and score, but also want somebody that's great playing off of Banchero and Wagner. And also, can handle some creation responsibility, but doesn't have to, have the ball in his hands all the time and can kind of be like a combo since both those guys are so good handling the ball. And he's from the area. It's freaking perfect. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess they just don't like his defense, but you got all these good defenders. You're a really good defense. You're a terrible offense. He is so perfect for them that it baffles my mind that they have not went out and got him yet. So hopefully they listen to Nurk. Because they got 2 picks in this upcoming draft. Could that be a draft trade? In the offseason, if they flame out again and are like, yeah, all right, fine, we need offense.
It could be, except for I'll keep coming back to apparently Joe Cronin is looking to trade these guys for a perfect player under a perfect contract instead of getting the most draft capital for them. And that's why Joe Cronin has so much trouble making trades at the trade deadline, is because those are very hard to come by. Like you have to get really lucky, or you have to just have like the perfect situation of a player that is being misused on a team that needs, but is also a playoff team that needs help now. Like it, so it's frustrating, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'll talk a little bit about a few players' offense real quick before we get into that. Once again, it is charity night, and we are supporting Brooke Hearts Your Heart. That is Brooke Olzendam's foundation for the American Heart Association. Educates fans on the importance of heart health prevention and education. So go support her. Go support her foundation. Brooke Olzendam is one of the greatest people around this organization, man. She does a really good job covering the team. Really good person. Really good heart. She has a really good heart. No pun intended. And shout out to her. Go support her foundation. It's linked in the description box below. It's nba.com/blazers/heart. And it's a members night. Let's gift a membership. Although it's not letting me right now. Let me try doing it from my laptop.
Convenient excuse.
Yeah. Let's talk about Klingon, because we didn't really talk about him much last game, and he was, 8 for 8 and made his only 3, and then tonight he has 17 points in 31 minutes, is 7 for 12, has 20 boards, 10 offensive rebounds. Like 3 of those misses, he was 7 for 12, but 3 of those misses was just him, shooting and getting his own miss and following it up. There's one play he missed 2 shots and then got an and one to go, and it's all right, I don't even care about those 2 misses because you got him back. You know what I mean? That is 10 offensive rebounds. You go 7 for 12. You get 3 blocks, a couple of assists, 20 boards, 17 points. That's a kind of a dominant performance, right? Mm-hmm. And he was really dominant last game offensively. He is already a really, really good dump-off option just because he's so freaking big. But also part of it is he just finds the right place to be where he's close enough to the rim where if his guy commits it all to the drive, he can just catch something and easily finish. But also, it's he's not necessarily getting in guys' way at the same time. It's his positioning is really good for a lot of these dump-off passes that he's receiving. Sharp hit him, Denny hit him. Guys are finding him, and he's scoring. And this is, when he plays a lot of minutes, it feels like he has a greater impact in those minutes. There's some games where he just doesn't really have any impact when he plays 12, 13, 14 minutes. And then people say, he just cannot play 30 minutes in a game. But it's he had that Timberwolves game earlier in the year. Last game, I don't know how many minutes he played, but it was really good. And then tonight, 31 minutes was really good once again. It's dude, he's almost better when he plays more minutes. I know his conditioning needs to get a little bit better, but it's he still competes. He still runs the floor. He had a couple buckets where he outran Denver. We're talking about Klingon, man. And that's just him, sprinting down the floor, just trying to get in position, even though he's not the quickest guy, even though he's not in the best shape. He's just giving it his all and sprinting down the floor. And that's
5 times a game. Jokic is on the other end complaining about a foul call.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you got to take advantage of that, right? Yeah. You got to sprint the floor as a big. You got to sprint the floor, and he's had a couple moments against other teams this year where I've been man, he got down the floor pretty quick for a big dude like that. So really happy with how he's playing. DeAndre Ayton reevaluated in 4 weeks. This is a great opportunity for Donovan Klingon, Eric. We're gonna
stay healthy for 4 weeks.
We're gonna get please knock on wood. We don't want more injuries. Assuming he stays healthy, we're gonna get a true feel for where he's at as a NBA starter. Mm-hmm. How impactful can he be on a night in, night out basis? Unfortunately, with how messy the Blazers defense was and how good the Denver Nuggets offense is, he's not going to be able to just single-handedly fix that in a game like this. It's not like Jokic I mean, Jokic had 26, 15, and 10, but that's below his average is.
I know, that's crazy.
So, we saw Jokic cook even more last game, but, it's Jokic, so what are you going to do? But it's going to be fun to see him start, play big minutes, and see what true impact he has on a consistent basis as a starter, because he just hasn't gotten the opportunity to consistently start and play minutes. So we'll see how much he wears down if he's playing 25 to 30 minutes a game on a game in, game out basis. We're going to see if he gets more comfortable. Maybe he takes a little bit of a leap with some of his passing, right? He had a couple of assists today. That's going to be cool, because right now he's a really good play finisher around the rim. He doesn't really take bad shots. He just finishes off what he gets. And 10 offensive rebounds is insane. So we'll be able to see, all right, man, if he's playing those minutes as a starter, every game, is he really going to get 4 to 5 offensive rebounds? Because that's a legitimately valuable thing. That's 4 to 5 extra shots a game that he's getting you.
Yeah, well, honestly, though, he hasn't been a good play finisher so far in his career. He has the last couple of games, but that is something he has struggled with, is finishing around the basket. But I thought he did a really good job tonight. He had that one where he got kind of rim checked. He tried to dunk it. I thought he might have gotten fouled on that one. But then a couple times, though, he did a really good job of deciding whether to dunk it or to just grab it and lay it off the backboard. You're so tall, it's so easy to just lay it off the backboard. You don't always have to dunk it. So I thought he was doing a much better job of using the glass a little bit better and shielding the defender off with his body. The Trailblazers PR. Oh, God.
Is 69% from 0 to 3 feet not solid?
I mean, 0 to 3 feet maybe, but just
he's shooting 3 to 10 feet. He's shooting 17%.
Yeah, so
but he's taking 69% of his shots from 0 to 3 feet, 15% of his shots from 3 to 10 feet. The key for him this offseason is improving from 3 to 10 feet, little push shot, little floater, that sort of stuff. But in terms of he's able to find his way into shots right at the bucket, and he does a really good job of rolling to a spot where he can be available for a dump-off pass to finish right at the bucket, compared to, rolling wide and ending up with a floater or stopping Israel short and shooting a mid-range all the time. So,
but, a lot of – it's kind of like the DeAndre Jordan thing, though. It's you're not shooting many uncontested shots. They're mostly lobs or offensive.
Yeah, but you got to get into position for those in the first place.
Right.
I think he does a good job of getting into position for those plays.
Yeah. So Trailblazers PR had a couple of tweets about him. This is kind of random stats, I guess, for the second one. But the first one is that with 20 rebounds tonight, he's the first Trailblazers rookie since Sam Bowie in 1985, so over almost 20 years ago, to record 20 rebounds in a game as a rookie. And then it's also the most by a rookie this season in NBA. And then Klingon is just the second rookie in the last 10 seasons to record a game with 15-plus points, 20-plus rebounds, and 3-plus blocks. The other being Victor Wembanyama.
Yep.
I don't know if that means anything, but just really cool to see him have a good game. I don't know. I wouldn't say it's our lone bright spot, but definitely our brightest spot of the evening by far, I think, was his performance tonight.
Yep. Absolutely. For the dude in chat, don't tell us what to talk about, and don't tell us we should go be a fan of another team, anything else like that, and you're going to get banned. All right, this is your only warning. Klingon playing well, man, and he's a rookie, so he's gonna have rookie moments. He still, fumbles some shots around the rim, was a comment I saw in chat. I don't remember from who, but but he's a rookie, so that sort of stuff. You give him some leeway and hope that he improves on it this offseason, right? It's he does a lot of really good field things well, I think, on both ends, right? The screens, being in the right spot for these dump offs. His defensive awareness and instincts are really good for a player his size, So that stuff's hard to teach. The getting better at a push shot from 5 to 6 feet, I think is easier to learn than defensive instincts. You know what I mean? So that's where watching Klingon excites me right now. Yes, he still has some rookie moments, but you're talking about a dude that can like have a solid impact when he plays decent minutes on an NBA floor right now. He's still, what, 20? Is he 21 yet? I'm not sure, but like as a rookie, I'll absolutely take that. Absolutely take that. Yeah, he turns 21 in 11 days on the 23rd of February. So, yeah, take that and then have some patience. The other stuff, the skill stuff, hopefully it rounds itself out. It's nice that he's hit some threes this year. He's shooting 30% from three. His three-point shot looks better than Chris Murray's. So, you know, it's cool that we've seen that. We didn't really expect it, and it's not something he needs to do. It's just cool that we've seen that, and maybe it's something that can be expanded upon. I still think we have yet to, like, run a system that can tap into his passing potential, because I do think he has passing potential. So there's still a lot of unscratched stuff there. I think we're just scratching the surface of his game.
There was some points in this game where the Blazers start to lose it and Denver started going on runs, and he was standing there like wide open around the free throw line. I just kept thinking like, man, let's use him as a connector piece from there. Like I want to see that be expanded into his game a little bit or into the offense. So hopefully they try a little more than that, because I mean, he's not going to be Jokic. That's not the point I'm going to make. But when you have someone that's really tall, if he's able to catch the ball and pass over the top of the defense to a cutter, or maybe you're setting an off-ball screen for a three-point shooter to pop out and the other person's rolling or whatever after the screen, there's just so many things you can do off of that when you have a big guy who can pass. And so I'd like to see them try to use that a little bit more to see what they have there.
Yep.
And then Medina actually, unlike you, Tori, got a gifted membership to go through.
Nice.
And it went to Colt, SXJPDX.
Isn't that like the third one he's won, the fourth one he's won?
Probably. And then Medina also left a member for 12-month message that said, drop a like with a thumbs up. And I agree. Everyone should drop a like and show your support for the channel.
Yeah, shout out to Medina for telling you guys to hit the like button, because I don't do it enough. I really need to start punishing you guys by asking for likes, because we sit here, 180 people in the stream, 55 likes. We can do better than that. We can do better. So let's do better. Let's do better. I'll try and gift a membership. Let me get on my my laptop here.
Extrovert says we should play Klingon 25 minutes a night to get him in NBA shape. Yeah, I mean, but like he does look gassed sometimes, but I mean, we went through this with like every center we've ever had. Like it's not necessarily that they're gassed. It's just big men just move differently and aren't as quick as other people. And I thought today, for how many concerns there were about his stamina and I thought he did fine. I mean, I know at the end he got hit in the chest and asked to come out or whatever, but like, I mean, other than that, I thought he did a good job of just playing through it and keep competing. But yeah, the rest of the season, I want to see him play as many minutes as he can handle. I definitely agree. 25 plus minutes as long as Aiton's out. Get him all the reps you can right now. I just hope he doesn't foul out and not be able to play a lot of minutes. But yeah, even if he's tired, just say, I don't care, you're staying in there, dude, and just let him play through it.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm just kind of reading chat here. Looks like Bouquets is already writing Klingon off. He says, no, I enjoy watching Klingon play, and I'm just concerned he has no touch or a single post move he can go to. The NBA doesn't run through the post anymore, man. And just be patient. I know it's hard, but he's a rookie. Okay? Like, he's going to improve at things. So we don't need to worry about like, oh man, touch from 3 to 10 feet right now doesn't look so good. Okay, cool. He has something he needs to work on. Like, if he doesn't improve in 2 to 3 years, then that's when I would worry if there's no improvement. But this is the type of conversations we had with Scoot. And if I recall correctly, you were like really worried about Scoot, and I was telling you, just be patient with him. Like, he has some things he needs to work on. And look how much Scoot has improved. Now it's like, all right, yeah, Scoot keeps improving at that rate. He's going to be a perennial all-star if he continues improving at the rate he's improved in the past year. So that's the thing, is like, just be patient with him. He's a hard worker. Klingen's a hard worker. Has a great head on his shoulders, and a lot of stuff he needs to improve on is stuff that's easier to work on than like instinctual stuff. So that's where it's a lot easier, I think, to have some patience with him. So that's all I'll say there. Like, yeah, he has some stuff to work on. That's not that's not something to necessarily worry about yet.
Yeah, he says, so why do we need a 7-2 plotting guy if the NBA doesn't run through a guy like that? There's a difference between having a rim protecting center and not playing through the post with him. He's there for his rim protection,
not his post play. Yeah.
So because you're touching on something that is the reason I didn't have Klingen super high on my big board. I had him like mid-teens instead of top 10 where he was on most boards. I was worried about him being too slow, but you watch him in a game, he's massive and he knows how to position himself. There has been numerous times in pretty much every game he's played this season that he has affected another team's player from driving to the hoop or taking a good shot or going all the way to the basket and pulling up for a much tougher shot over him. He absolutely has the instincts you need to be a good rim protector, shot blocker, just disruptor around the rim. And that is a trait that you need to have. Now, as things progress, are we going to get situations where the other team passes the ball around the perimeter a bunch and he has to rotate out onto a three-point shooter and might not be fast enough to do that? Yes, that's always going to be a concern. Can we play many different styles of defense with him other than drop? I don't know. The jury's still out on that. Probably not super effectively. I mean, you might be able to get away with doing it some. I'd like to throw in some wrinkles where you use his size to double team someone occasionally, but overall, I think just how smart he plays, his positioning, and then when he's around the rim, just his ability to affect shots and protect the rim, unlike most bigs that we've had around here. Even a shot blocker like Whiteside, I would say, wouldn't necessarily intimidate people from coming around the rim like Klingen has been doing. And so I do think I've also seen his ability to close on, like, maybe not running out to a three-point shooter, but when someone comes around a pick and he's dropped, the ability of him to close that gap when the guy goes to shoot the ball has been really impressive and something that I didn't think was quick enough, but I think is legitimately quick enough to make it in the NBA. And I forget what the stat was, but I believe Klingen is the best in the entire NBA at defending mid-range shots. I forgot what the actual stat was, but someone posted that over the last few days, and it was interesting to look at.
Yeah, and Taylor has a comment. Taylor Packer says, plotting is such a simplification of what he is. He has incredible defensive instincts and positioning. And yeah, absolutely. Like, that goes a long way. I feel like people just look at his center as like, is he slow or is he not? Is he plotting or is he athletic? And it's just like that oversimplification. But if you can be in the right position and react quickly to stuff, you can make up for not being the fastest runner or the highest jumper at the center position. And that's where Klingen really excels, kind of to what you said. So, yeah, Bouquet says, again, I'm not really concerned about his speed. I just brought it up because Tori mentioned the new NBA. I just don't want a black hole on offense like Gobert. Klingen has made 7 threes in his career. He's already made 7 more threes than Rudy Gobert. Klingen, I already think, has better passing feel. We just haven't seen it yet than Rudy Gobert. So that's where it's just be patient with him.
Black hole means you're like a ball hog.
Yeah, I think it just means like a non-threat. Like you just
non-threat,
can always But, like, Klingen's already made...
So
He's made 7 threes. He's shooting 30% from 3. Gobert's never made a 3. Okay? Klingen's free throw percentage, at least going into this game, would have tied Gobert's career high, 69%. Klingen showed more passing instincts and feel in college than Gobert ever has. So that's where it's just like, just be a little bit patient. Just be a little bit patient with them.
yeah.
So
The stat was he forces the most mid-range pull-ups out of the pick and roll. That's obviously by percentage, but
yeah.
And that's what you want to do. That's the whole point of drop, is to force teams into the mid-range. But what that also shows is that more often than not, they're kind of scared to go all the way in and drive to the hoop. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
What's Klingen's potential to be? What's his ceiling now? I mean, I think his ceiling is legitimately Gobert. With, like, I don't know if that level of defense is maybe a little bit too optimistic, but if we're talking about, like, best case ceiling, it's best case scenario. Best case scenario, he's Gobert that can knock down a 3 from time to time and pass better than that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a really freaking good player. So that's like the best case scenario. Is that likely? No, it's not likely he becomes as elite defensively as Prime Gobert was, but that's the case for, like, basically every other player in the league, because Gobert is a multi-time defensive player of the year guy. So,
well, the other thing, I mean, we talked about this a lot with Ayton, but okay, so you're a liability on offense. Let's just say that's true about him.
yeah.
Like, what he did tonight makes him not a liability, because he was a monster on the offensive rebounds, and he used that big frame, position yourself well, and good things are going to happen. And look how many easy putbacks and stuff he got in this game simply by hustling around the rim and being in the right position. So you're also, if you're down in that area, you're going to get a lot of dump passes and lob passes, and you can finish off those. So if that's all he becomes, at least I don't think you can call that a liability, because he absolutely had a good effect on our offense in this game. So you can't say that he's like a nothing on offense.
Yeah, absolutely. Other guys, Tamani struggled from 3 the past couple of games, had 3 blocks, struggled defensively, like I said, 4 for 10, just 32 points. Forgettable game for him. Denny, 5 for 12. Nice to see him make some buckets. Was 1 for 4 from 3. We've talked about the wrist ailment. Hopefully this All-Star break will give him some time to heal. He just looks like he doesn't necessarily have the same burst. Like, he seems tired, Eric. Does he seem tired to you? Like, he just doesn't seem like he has his normal, like, energy that he plays with.
Maybe, I don't know. It's just going through his struggles.
Yeah.
Bad spurt, yeah.
So I'm not worried about Denny at all. Like, rest up over this All-Star break, get that wrist healed. He had such a good stretch, like, not going to worry about him. I mean, he still had 14 points. He was 5 for 12 from the field, 3 for 4 from free throw line, like 1 assist, 1 turnover, and we're sitting there acting like, man, it wasn't a good game. But I mean, it's not that bad of a game in 28 minutes. So he was fine. Defensively, different story. We're just talking about offense. And went 9 for 19, 3 for 9 from 3, had 6 assists, 2 turnovers. Felt like he shot worse in this game to me than the numbers indicate, which is funny. I think it's just like some of the bad moments really stick out. Like one of the turnovers he had in transition just really stuck out to me. The one in transition where he just dribbled right into the defender. Like,
well, it got clotheslined.
I don't know. He kind of just dribbled right into the defender, and there was contact. They could have called a foul, but it was also just like he kind of just dribbled right into him. It was just a weird play.
His other turnover was like at the very end where the game was over.
Yeah, it's almost like in transition you gotta try and go around somebody, and then if you get bumped, then they'll call it. Like, it was just one of those word plays where he went like straight into the guy and kind of stopped it up. It was just a strange play. I thought the guy clotheslined him. That's why I thought he was like, what the heck? I need to look up this play.
Because the play before that, he had just gone. That was what he did, the Euro step right around everyone, laid it in.
Yeah. I don't remember him getting clothesline, though. All right, NBA.com box score. Anthony Simons turnovers.
I'm about to look this up, too.
He didn't get clotheslined. He didn't get clotheslined.
Okay.
I don't know. Watch it back and let me know what you think.
Did he get fouled, though?
He might have gotten fouled. It seemed like he got ball with his left hand, and then there's a little bit of contact, like, as he got ball or after he got ball. It was just like I don't know, good defense, I guess. I just don't really know what Ant was trying to do there. He just kind of went right into him.
Even this Nuggets broadcast says, whoa, no whistle. Yeah, he reaches across his whole body. Oh, I think that's foul.
He didn't reach across his body. They were chest to chest. How could he reach across his body? I don't know. It was almost one of those things where, like, Ant going at him in transition starts in and out and expected him to keep backpedaling and letting Ant build a head of steam, and Christian Brown just, like, stopped backpedaling, so Ant went right into him. It was a good defensive play. We just had a couple moments, like Banton had a moment tonight. There was just a couple moments in transition where it feels like without Denny pushing the pace and no Scoot, like, we just don't know how to get out and run. I don't know how many fast break points we finished with. 18, better than I thought. There's certain guys on this team that will have some weird moments, weird turnovers in transition. But yeah. I don't know what's going on. Anyway,
Alex Ferrama asked me what the top 3 Blazers are, and I said of all time, and he said, yeah. Like,
Dame, Clyde, Bill Walton.
Yeah, but just in general, I don't think there is a single organization in the history of sports you could ask that question of and have a more clear-cut answer than the Portland Trail Blazers' top 3 players of all time. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like,
to LaMarcus Aldridge.
There is no question those 3 players are the best. So, like, no one is ever going to say anyone different unless they're a huge hater of one of those 3 players. So,
yeah.
Our Dame haters, I guess, are going to say someone else. But, yeah.
Yeah. Off the bench, Sharp was 5 for 15, 1 for 6 from 3. 7 assists is nice to see. He just struggled making shots, missed some mid-ranges really badly. Jabari Walker was 3 for 3 from 3. 17 points, 6 for 7 from the field. 17 points in 19 minutes with 7 boards, 2 steals. Jabari Walker played really well tonight. And we haven't touched upon him. He
it was awesome.
He was shooting 20. He was shooting. Hold on. How much did he raise his 3-point percentage by today? Because going into this game, Jabari Walker was shooting 22.2% from 3. But it was...
He's over 30, I think.
It was on 8 for 36. So now he's 11 for 39. Which
Aeromancer said he joined the 30% 3-point club today.
Nice. Congratulations to Jabari, man. He's made 8 all year in 38 games and 390 minutes. Today he made 3. So, yeah, 11 divided by 39 equals... No, Arrow's lying to us.
Is he?
Yeah.
What is
Arrow's math. 11 divided by 39 is 28.2.
Oh, okay.
Or 0.282.
Darn it, Aeromancer.
Dang it, Aeromancer. You need to check your calculator, make sure it's not broken. But hey, he still gained 6 percentage points, so he's on his way. Good effort, Arrow. We'll applaud your effort. Thanks for trying. All right. That's everybody. Let's do Tankathon. Then we'll look at All-Star Weekend BetUS stuff. And then... Actually, let's look at All-Star Weekend BetUS stuff right now. Then we'll do Tankathon. Then we'll get out of here. All right. So on BetUS, you can find the odds for... 3-point contest winner. The favorite, of course, is Damian Lillard. He's won back-to-back 3-point contests. He's plus 400.
Hurt.
But he's what?
He's hurt, though.
Is he?
Yeah, he sat out tonight.
Oh, well. You should be able to shoot some threes on Friday. Plus 400.
He should be able to play in the All-Star game.
Yeah, plus 400. So you can play some money down on Dame and root for him. Or you can play some money on former Blazer Norman Powell. Although the way Norman Powell shoots, I think is going to be really bad for a 3-point contest. I think Darius Garland is a good sleeper. I think if it's not Dame, I would take Darius Garland. And if Dame's hurt, honestly, I might take Darius Garland. You can get plus 600, which is pretty good odds. And then highest first-round scorer, you can bet on like Damian Lillard first-round scorer over or under 24.5 for him. So you can have some fun betting on like players' scores. And then you can play some money on Scoot's team, although he's not playing for it. So we'll call it Tamani's team and Julian Strother's team, Gonzaga legend. What team were they on again? Mitch Richmond's, right? Is that the...
I don't remember.
Chat.
I think so.
Let us know. I think it was Mitch Richmond. I mean, plus 150. So I think it's that team because that team looked better than the others. So you can bet on that route on Tamani.
What are the Thompson twins? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Yeah, they got Strother, Thompson twins, Tamani. I forget who else. But then you can bet on the All-Star Game MVP. And since the way they're dividing it, I mean, couldn't you have a Rising Stars guy win All-Star MVP? Since one of the teams gets to play All-Star night?
Mm-hmm.
You also have Kia Skills Challenge. No dunk contest winner that I see, which is interesting. But, of course, if you want to get in on this action, use promo code YouTube150 for 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit, followed by 2 125% bonuses up to $2,000. Take advantage of that promo. It's a great promo. You can get in on All-Star Weekend with BetUS. All right.
Do you have any more members' questions before we do? I think Parker said he asked one.
Check it out.
John Mullis might have also.
We got 4. So the energy warning. I have a member question, guys. Will we be able to beat the curse of Rookie of the Year? Nobody's ever repeated it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. I think you're funny. Shout out to Colt. He says, thoughts on viewership being up 70%. So it went down 60% and then went up 68%, but that still means it's lower. You did the math on this, Eric. It's like if it's at 100% and it goes down 60%, it goes down from 100,000 to 40,000. And then if it goes up 68% from 40,000, it goes to like 68,000 or 67,000. So, the numbers can seem tricky there. It can seem like it's better than it was 2 years ago, but the way the percentages work out, it's still not where it was 2 years ago. But a reason why they went up, they got off that crappy Root package.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out Root Sports does not bring in more eyeballs, Eric.
Yeah.
It's funny.
But free cable TV, it should be up, right?
I mean, is it even free cable? It's antenna.
I mean, free antenna TV, yeah.
Yeah, which is a lot harder to figure out. I tried to do it, and it did not work for me. So, bought Blazer Vision. We got Q&A. Is the Q&A still going? Yes. Get your question in the next 2 minutes, if you have one, John.
What's next?
Shout out to Brandon. By the way, if you're not a channel member and you left a question in this Q&A, I'm sorry, but it's just for members only. You can leave it in the live chat, and we might answer it. Shout out to Brandon, who says, is there another rookie from the same draft class that you would take over Klingon right now that the Blazers passed on or that was drafted? Because we both, I think, still really believe in Alex Sarr. I'd probably rather have Alex Sarr over Klingon. And then I think Stephon Castle will be a better player. Like, I'd rather have Castle. I think he's has star potential. Like, just he's not shooting well from three, but just the way he's attacking off the dribble, he looks good. He's not throwing a fit because he's not the point guard there. Now he's, you got Chris Paul and De'Aaron Fox there. So, well, damn, three-peat at the three-point contest this year. I mean, I just want to say yes because it's my guy, but if not, Darius Garland is the guy. I was thinking more out of the other centers like Edie, Ware, and Missy. Oh, would I take any of the other centers? No. Maybe Kel'el Ware's looked really good.
Yeah.
But he's gotten more opportunity in the last month than I feel like Klingon has had.
And he's better offensively, so it looks flashier. But ultimately, is
his defense good enough?
Klingon's defense going to be better? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I'll still ride with Klingon because it's not clear cut. But the only guy I think you could make a case for is Kel'el Ware. Like, Zach Edey's been injury prone and had some good moments, but I mean. I don't know. I still like Klingon over Edey. Still feel confidently there.
Where are you moving to, Brandon? And it doesn't matter where you move to. You got to still... Sorry, that's the rules. You have to join the live stream.
Will Tamani...
Even if it's 4 in the morning.
Will Tamani take a charge in the Rising Stars game? That's the final member question we will answer.
Yes.
I mean, I think it's instinctual for him, so I'm going to say yes, too.
Yeah.
I don't think he knows how not to.
Well, they call it, though.
Well, yeah. Will the refs be ready to call a charge? All right. Let's do Tankathon, and let's wrap up the stream. The Blazers, man. They only... Look at this. The Nets beat Philadelphia today. The Nets have won 3 in a row. The Nets are only a game and a half away from a play-in, even though they've tried to trade away everyone. For some reason, didn't trade Cam Johnson, but they have been trying to tank, and they just beat Philadelphia. So the ceiling is 6th best odds. The Blazers are only 2.5 games out of 6th best odds, Eric. They could still get 6th best odds, which is 37% chance if you're by yourself at top 4. I don't know. I feel pretty decent about that going into lottery night. I don't expect us to get lucky anyway, but I might cry tears of joy on stream if we get the number 1 pick because it would be life-changing as a Blazer fan and a Blazer content creator to get the number 1 pick in this draft. I would love getting the number 1 pick as much as anybody in this draft. So, I would like to have 6 best odds. That'd be cool. That's the good thing about losing. Unfortunately, Chicago can't win a game, but, you got Philadelphia, Brooklyn, and Chicago. They might be battling for a play-in spot at the end of the year. So maybe that plays in Portland's favor moving up to 6. The Blazers do play Brooklyn one more time. So it'll be very important to lose that game. All aboard the tank. All aboard the tank. Right now we have 20% chance at top 4. But let's see if we can get lucky. 14 is Atlanta via Sacramento. 13 is Miami via Golden State. 12 is Houston via Phoenix. 11 is San Antonio via Atlanta. 10 is San Antonio. 9 is your Portland Trail Blazers. 8 is Chicago. 7 is Brooklyn. 6 is Philadelphia. And 5 is Charlotte, moving down 1 spot. 4 is Washington, moving down 3 spots. 3 is Toronto, moving up 2. 2 is Utah. And 1 is the New Orleans Pelicans. Boring. Boring. That's more fun, but that isn't any better for the Blazers. Utah, Philadelphia, Houston via Phoenix, and Charlotte. I couldn't think of a worse team to be in like that number 3 spot. You know what I mean? Just like,
Yeah.
you already got Jabari Smith. You already got all these fours. You're going to take Ace Bailey there. It's just, you don't have a path to playing time for them. Like, they should absolutely trade that pick. You know what? That pick back to Phoenix with their future picks for KD and Booker. There you go. There you go. But, yeah. That's Tankathon. Anything else for the stream, Eric?
Appreciate it, everyone. Did anyone get any last-minute questions in?
I thought we wrapped it up, but I will look.
Yeah.
Energy Warning says, jokes aside, is there a clear-cut Rookie of the Year this year? Nobody clear-cut. I think it's anyone's race. You can check out BetUS. They might have odds on that. I would definitely check the odds because they'll tell you if there's like a clear-cut leader or not. Alrighty, Eric.
Thanks, everyone, for watching. So our next stream, Tori, will be Monday night. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's the plan right now. We'll let you guys know if anything changes there, but we plan on just doing a Monday night stream, like same time we normally do during the off seasons on Monday, like 9:30 p.m. Like I might be busy before that too, so like 9 or 9:30 p.m. on Monday. We're gonna have a stream tomorrow. Picks against the spread on our second channel. We'll pick 5 NBA games. There's 5 games tomorrow, so we'll pick those on our second channel. Go subscribe to our second channel. We'll have the Monday night stream. Not sure which channel we'll do it on. That's why you should just subscribe to both so you don't miss it. And then we'll be back on next Thursday with our next post-game show, as well as another picks against the spread. So it's the All-Star break's here. It's nice to kind of relax and reset here. So gonna enjoy this All-Star break. Hopefully you guys do as well. And we will see you tomorrow on that second channel. Shout out to BetUS for sponsoring the stream. Shout out to our channel members as always. Shout out to Brooke Olzendam and her charity, Brooke Hearts Your Heart. Donation link in the description box below if you want to go support that. And we are out of here.
If it does get freezing rain or snow tomorrow, everyone stays safe.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But, yeah. Hit the like on the way out. Subscribe if you're new. Let's get the stream to 100 likes as we end it. And we are out of here. We will catch you next time. Until then, as always, peace out. Go Blazers!